The sun rises on the quarterfinal round in Pensacola. The journey to a Sun Belt title heating up. March Madness continues today. It's the Georgia State Panthers and Coastal Carolina Chanticleers next on ESPN. And you are watching the Sun Belts on ESPN, and we have reached the quarterfinal round. Georgia State's looking to keep their program best run alive, while Coastal Carolina, after a fantastic regular season, is hoping that that momentum carries over into the postseason. And with that, we say welcome to the Bank Plus Studios here in New Orleans with Amanda Poole. I'm Noah Frary. And Coastal Carolina coming off of a 22-win regular season, a first-ever quarterfinal appearance for the Chanticleers program. Amanda, it feels right now they're primed to make a run. Why do you think they can?
Well, because of defense and depth. Right now, they've got 5 players averaging more than 6 points per game, and they've got this little thing called Coastal Chaos that forces 21 turnovers per game, good for top 20 nation. So a disruptive defense and a balanced offense is good for March.
Hey, that defense is going to have to contend with one Crystal Henderson, who put together a big performance yesterday, a career day for Georgia State's point guard.
Yeah, career high 32 points yesterday, accounting for almost half of the Panthers' 65 total points on the day. They want the ball in her hands, whether that's to dish it out or take it in herself.
Now, Coastal Carolina point guard Jaden Marable has been the maestro to this high-powered Chants offense.
Yeah, elite guard play right there. Top 23 in the nation in that assist-to-turnover ratio. Northern Illinois grad transfer is this team's MVP, according to head coach Kevin Pedersen. It starts with her.
And maybe playing with a chip on her shoulder after what some have called a snub in the postseason awards. Well, let's go down to Shelby Coppage, who has more on Coastal's defensive plans today.
No, Coastal Carolina's head coach Kevin Pedersen said, we need 40 minutes of absolute coastal chaos, which means stopping the Georgia State guards, Crystal Henderson and Michaela Tolliver, who combined for 60 points of Georgia State's 65 points yesterday. So this team cannot afford for these players to have an off game. He said, we need the ball out of Henderson's hands and have to get a top stat on her today.
Hey, certainly easier said than done. Those two fantastic yesterday, both with career days. Only 4 players scored in that game for Georgia State. Coastal Carolina making their debut in the postseason, an early 3. Holloman has the rebound. As we take a look at this Georgia State lineup, Mahogany Matthews back in there, was banged up yesterday. You didn't know if she was going to get back in this game. We'll see what she has in store for this contest, as Henderson misses her first attempt at the rim.
And you want to see if Kaylee Addy will get back in it. She was scoreless yesterday, but she's somebody that can get hot from the 3. One of those sharp shooters.
A unique lineup in this game to begin for Coastal Carolina. Amelia Tenbrock getting the start for the Chanticleers. And we take a look at that Coastal up here. Tenbrock in there alongside Anaya Barney. Very similar lineup to what we saw on senior day to end the regular season.
Yeah, Barney and Tenbrock, Constance in the bench, now just picking up one of a handful of starts this season.
The 3-second in the lane call takes us to our keys to victory. Brought to you by Bank Plus. Amanda, walk us through them.
Well, obviously Georgia State wants to handle that Coastal chaos and share the ball. That's what allowed them to win the game yesterday. And for Coastal, apply that defensive pressure and push the pace. When their offense is fast, they're winning.
Georgia State pulling off the upset yesterday of 5-seeded Old Dominion. Only led for 1 minute and 26 seconds, so that's still able to come out on top. Just goes to show it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Important theme this time of year. This is Anaya Barney working baseline. Threw it up, missed it, and Holloman has another rebound here in the early going. This is Michaela Tolliver. She has had one heck of a postseason so far. Henderson misses the 3. Henderson forces the turnover. Driving right at Marable. Can't finish, and she's quiet early. 0 for 3 from the field. Coastal looking a little out of sorts here in the early stages. maybe could be expected after the long, lengthy layoff. Last game they played was on February 28th.
Coach Pedersen said that, this Georgia State team has been on a run right now. They're heating up now.
Addy has the two there, was quiet yesterday, held scoreless. A Coastal offense that was the second best in the league during the regular season. 75 points per game and another turnover here, 4 in the early going. But Georgia State gives it right back.
And there comes some new players for Coastal.
Gene Hill's team, for the first time in their Sun Belt history, have won 2 games at a Sun Belt championship. He's thinking about a 3rd win here today. Kevin Pedersen, 3rd season at the helm. Each year there's been improvements in the win department. 22, the most under his tenure this season.
Brought in a fresh 5. And Ponder gets things going. Jalen Ponder was a spark off the bench for this team when Mallory Bruce and Savannah Brooks were injured throughout the season. Kevin Pedersen likes the way that her body moves around that floor.
Tolliver driving on Brooks, an offensive foul. Brooks has been playing banged up late in the season, but back out there today for Coastal. Lately, though, Coastal Carolina's had success, although Georgia State beat them back on January 22nd. This is Alancia Ramsey, 3rd team all-conference this season for the sophomore. Carter drives, throws it up, and will head to the free throw line.
Delana Carter, much more of an on-ball defender to start this season, but has been able to drive and get to the rim throughout the back half of the season, trying to put up points offensively, not just come off the bench and have that defensive spark.
First foul there on Mahogany Matthews, now 2 in the quarter for Georgia State, putting Carter at the free throw line. Just over 5 points per game last year during her debut season. She's been a big bench contributor this year for Coastal Carolina. Very deep Chanticleer's team this season. And 2 missed free throws there for Carter as the scoreline stays tied. There's that Coastal Chaos defense. And bailed out was Georgia State on the foul.
Yeah, this will be something to watch. This pressure, they collapse on you as soon as you take that ball out of bounds. Full court, and they'll do that the whole game, and the players love it.
Crystal Henderson trying to tiptoe the sideline, stepped out of bounds. That's a great play by the defender right there, because you're using that sideline as quasi a 6th defender of sorts.
Yeah, and Carter doing a great job of not fouling too, keeping those hands up and just kind of riding the rails there on the baseline.
They wanted to limit the amount of time that Henderson had the ball in her hand on that replay. I'm not sure she stepped out. And now Ponder picks up her 2nd personal foul, so quickly coming out of the game is, you heard Kevin Pedersen having a disagreement there with the official.
Yeah, she's one of the key pieces to this Coastal depth. She can come in and make something happen. She'll have to sit out for a little bit. Coastal tries to heat things up here. A low-scoring affair so far. We knew this was going to happen with these elite defenses.
I was expecting this Coastal offense to perform a little bit better here early on, but we have always questioned these higher-seeded teams playing for their first time, what they would look like.
Takes a second to warm up. Coach Pedersen did say you don't win or lose the game in the first 5 minutes.
Marable has her first basket. Coastal Carolina looking to make their first semifinal in program history. They would have been in a good spot during that 2019-2020 season. They were the 2 seed. The tournament ultimately canceled due to COVID. Matthews had the bucket there a moment ago. Jemerson inside off the rim. stoppage would take us to a timeout. Henderson loses it. Carter's pushing, takes it herself, gets it right back. Quick pull here, Marable with her second basket. She's making an impact on the offensive side early.
Great defense by Carter to keep that ball into play, and Marable, just the efficiency. She takes tough shots but makes them.
She's always been known for her passing, her ability not to turn over the ball, but Kevin Pedersen told us last night when we spoke with him, he said, watch out for her offensive game in this tournament. Carter fouls Tolliver, and she will head to the free throw line when we come back. Coastal Carolina and Georgia State. Right now it's the Panthers ahead early. Matthews, after the injury yesterday, having an early impact for Georgia State.
Navigating day-to-day activities while experiencing joint pain is tough. Andrews makes it better. Our team will create a plan of care just for you to help you regain mobility and reduce discomfort. From diagnosis to treatment to rehabilitation, let Andrews make it better.
Over 150,000 strong, the JMU Alumni Association offers opportunities for Dukes to stay connected to their Madison experience. We do this by promoting alumni successes and building a culture of sustained investments in James Madison University and our students. We are advocates, volunteers, mentors, and donors. We bleed purple. We are Dukes. Dukes from day one, alumni for life.
Louisiana's Cajun and Creole country, a melting pot of generations passing along a recipe of joie de vivre. Live music, boiled crawfish, and the smell of gumbo signify the season. This is Lafayette, a parish filled with culture and hospitality unlike any other. It takes more than a quick visit to understand why we're the happiest city in America. Start planning yours along Lafayette.
Score big this season at Pensacola's Kia Autosport. Shop from one of the area's largest selections of award-winning new Kias with premium features, advanced technology, connected services, and safety features to give you peace of mind. Scan the QR code on the screen to view all of our great specials and see the value of your trade instantly. Come see why there are more Kias on the road every day. Only at Pensacola's Kia Autosport. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Online at KiaAutosportPensacola.com.
We want a Shia and a Kia.
Ladies and gentlemen, the power of a word. The anticipation,
The adrenaline, the hair on the back of their necks rising.
the crowd, the score rising.
Greatness rising, the sun rising.
Sometimes a word is best left all by itself. The Sun Belt Conference,
14 universities,
10 states, rising.
A 2-point Coastal Carolina advantage, 4:23 to go in this opening quarter. Georgia State playing in their third game in 3 days. Wins already over Georgia Southern and Old Dominion in this tournament. And the best run in this program's history at this tournament is trying to be extended here today as they try to set up 8 seed James Madison, who's in the building watching this one, getting ready for their tournament debut after an undefeated regular season for Sean O'Regan's side. The James Madison team, they're going to be fun to see tomorrow. They have to be considered the favorite after what they did in this league during the regular season, Amanda.
Well, they're doing defense and offense at such a high level, and that's when you have a well-rounded team, when you're able to produce an offense with multiple key pieces, but also follow that up with a strict defense, as we've seen. And they've got some awesome players there that they really know how to ball.
27 wins for that program during the regular season. 18 consecutive wins in conference play, and many of them were not particularly close this season. Coastal getting downhill, and Marable continues her great start to this game.
Jaden Marable, yes, the orchestrator, right, the point guard, but she's able to just take what the defense gives her and make something happen for her team right now, who needs points.
She's been the only consistent piece on this offense so far early on. Georgia State still trying to get going. 3 players have scored in this game. Be a good sign after really it was just two, Tolliver and Henderson yesterday. Abasui missed it, and Barney gonna push in transition. Ramsey trying to get open inside. Pitches it backside, Bruce for three, shot it.
Mallory Bruce, one of those players that can get hot right. UNC Asheville transfer, shooting 35% from the three this season.
Won a lot of experience when she came over from that Bulldogs program. Henderson after the career high 32 yesterday, still searching for her first basket. Maya Williams drives downhill. And now Coastal Carolina pushing. Brooks hangs, it won't go, but she will head to the free throw line.
Mallory Bruce brings so much passion to this program. Like you said, Noah, a lot of experience as well coming from that UNC Asheville program. Pedersen saying she gets emotional and passionate and really pumps up the rest of the team.
So sometimes, you have to rein it in every once in a while, right?
I think that's the best kind, though.
I always wonder how that emotion and that passion will come out at this time of year when the stakes become higher. Savannah Brooks goes 1 of 2 from the line. Second team all-conference this year for Kevin Pedersen's side. Patience Williams guarded there by Ramsey, who's had a massive sophomore year. Maya Williams into the teeth of that D, pitches over to Holloman in the corner, but a foul called against Coastal Carolina. Ramsey picking up third-team all-conference honors this year, led Coastal Carolina with over 13 points and 7 rebounds during Sun Belt play. Williams can't connect, but it will stay with Georgia State with a fresh 20 on the shot clock.
And Coastal's lost to Georgia State when the Panthers. Maya Williams went 6 of 6 from the three. She found that hot hand and made Coastal pay. She's trying to heat up today.
Yeah, her and Addie were so good in that game. 44 combined points in that 75-72 victory towards the end of January.
And that's a game that Coach Pedersen said just were not themselves.
Williams triggers the pull-up jumper. Out of bounds, and it will stay with Georgia State. Ramsey didn't see the deflection. It's just a miscue right there as Riley Stack will check into this game. Georgia State just 1 for their last 7 from the field. We're a little quiet offensively to begin the game yesterday. Another turnover. Brooks drives on Tolliver, drew the contact, didn't get the whistle, but finishes nonetheless.
Brooks hasn't been, really stepping out on the stat sheet in her recent games just because of that injury really affecting her play time, but she does all those little things right, the steals, the hustle plays, the fast break layups.
Henderson. Matthews. And a third try coming. Henderson has her first basket and will head to the free throw line looking to add one more.
Georgia State needs to get her going to build some confidence in that offense. This is the one way that she gets the job done is getting herself to that free throw line.
We spoke with Kevin Pedersen last evening ahead of this matchup. A lot of the talking when it came down to this matchup was how do we keep Crystal Henderson in check in this game. They were in the building to watch her drop 32 yesterday. They wanted to keep the ball out of her hands. She's had it in her hands early, she just hasn't gotten going.
Yep, containing Crystal is what Coach Pedersen said. That time of possession, so important.
Stack couldn't snare it. Tolliver, tough 2, hits it. Her first basket of the game at a career high 28 yesterday. Long 3. It's something that Coastal Carolina does more than most teams in this conference. Only Arkansas State and Marshall shot more threes during the regular season. Williams is open inside and converts, and a timeout coming.
Georgia State's offense finding their rhythm against Coastal.
It's been a game of runs here early on. Coastal Carolina made a run. Now Georgia State on a 7-0 run of their own.
And of course it started with Henderson, her ability to get to the free throw line, but also to create like this with her teammates.
Georgia State, you question how much they would have in their legs playing for a third consecutive day. They take down their rival in the opening game of this tournament for them, and then it was Old Dominion who led for a majority of that game. That woman right there, Crystal Henderson, her teammate Michaela Tollivert stepping up, that dynamic duo, carrying them across the finish line and into this quarterfinals for the first time in program history since they joined the Sun Belt in the mid-2010s.
Well, Coach Hill saying that's what the postseason is for. The stars are supposed to shine, and that's what they did.
This is Ramsey back into the game, slipped it to Brooks. It looked like Matthews might have deflected that one. Late in the first quarter from Pensacola. First game of these quarters. Maya Williams open at the top of the key and hits the three as Georgia State takes the lead.
That's what you get when you move the ball around. Something Coach Gene Hill wanted them to do today. Share the ball, get open, get a decent shot. Ponder late on that closeout.
A 10-0 run for Georgia State. Coastal can take the final shot. They get a great look and Ramsey finishes. Georgia State was not in much of a hurry here. Henderson gonna try to get a shot off from the logo. High off the glass. And after 1 quarter of play, Georgia State and Coastal Carolina are tied up at 16 apiece. The Panthers playing in their 3rd game in 3 days. Tollivert's had a great tournament. Coastal Carolina hoping for some good vibes in their debut. 16 apiece after 1 in the Pensacola Bay Center. A battle could be brewing here in the quarterfinals. The 4-seeded Chanticleers in their tournament debut, tied at 16 here early on. Neither team has gotten going offensively. Georgia State right now doing a great job of not giving this Coastal Carolina team extra opportunities.
Yeah, Coastal shooting 50% from the field right now, but they're letting those offensive boards go. Georgia State has 7 offensive rebounds, giving them those second chances in this.
So we head to the second quarter in Pensacola. Mahogany Matthews has not looked 100% here early on. Has a basket though in that first quarter. Has affected a couple of these shots. Trying to gut through after that knee injury that didn't look particularly good in real speed yesterday. Here's Ramsey, blocked from behind. A third block here now for Matthews. She came into this game number 2 in the nation, 106 blocks on the season, which is already a Georgia State record. Henderson now slips it to Matthews, and an offensive foul called as Brooks steps in front again.
She has done this almost every game this season, taking those offensive charges, great at getting into position, but Mahogany Matthews doing things on the other end of the court here. Big block from Matthews. Like you said, Noah, something she does at a nationally high rate.
And I shorted her one block, already 4 here early on. Brooks finds Ramsey, who overpowers Tolliver. A tight game early on between these two. You maybe expected that after some of the games that they played together during the regular season. Tolliver stops on a dime, pulls. Brooks couldn't hang on. Williams 3. And Ramsey skies for the rebound.
Another second chance points opportunity, but lucky for Coastal, they get it back.
Marible's had a great start to this game. Misses the 3. High pace of play early on. Holloman locates Maya Williams in the corner, and she'll hit another 3.
Maybe she just likes going up against Coastal. She had 6 threes made in that last matchup against the Chants, and now she's got 2 already today.
She's been so big off the bench in the late parts of this season for Georgia State. Marable reigns the 3. It skips in and out. Tolliver for 3. And Coastal Carolina will just watch that one go out of bounds as they retake possession. Clara Rossini in as Matthews catches a breather. Kristen Williams, haven't mentioned her name much early on in this broadcast. The transfer from UMass has had a great year shooting the rock. She'll shoot it here. That would have been perfect, right?
Would have set up nicely.
Instead, things setting up nicely here for Georgia State as they push it. Henderson, the long 2. And Ramsey has another rebound.
Just a forced shot right there. Not something Coach G wants to see. He likes that ball movement.
You wonder if she's grown a little frustrated with how this defense is playing her right now.
You scored 32 points. You're going to be shut down in that next game. They're obviously going to target you.
Ramsey's got 6 rebounds already. Throws it away here. Tolliver driving right into that Coastal defense. Can't finish. Rossini couldn't hit the second try. And now Coastal will have numbers going the other way. Inside, Ramsey catches it and finishes.
Marable with an awesome lob pass to Ramsey. They were on the same wavelength down the floor.
Always good to see a big run in the floor. And Williams will head free throw line as Marable will pick up her first. Looks to be a little shaken up.
It's no surprise we've seen a lot of back and forth play. That's what Coastal does so well. They like to push the pace, make you run, and especially with the Georgia State team. Coastal wants to tire them out knowing that they're on game number 3 and day number 3.
The one thing, though, for Georgia State right now, and Amanda, we talked about this during their game yesterday, they missed a lot of layups early on in this game. Right now, just 4 for 12 on those opportunities at the rim. We saw them clean that up in the second half against Old Dominion. They're probably going to have to do that again here today.
Yeah, especially if they're getting all those offensive rebounds. Right now, they've got 9-0 boards, which means quick you can put back up, make this a different ball game.
Side in uncharted territory. They've never gone this far in a Sun Belt Conference tournament. Carter, head of steam, finds a cutting Stack, who's heading to the free throw line.
Carter, one of the fastest players on this Coastal team, gets down the court, doesn't turn the ball over, which has been a growth factor for her. Able to dish it off to Stack. Towards the end of the season, has been able to impact this team in ways Coach Pedersen has been waiting for.
And Stack alongside Ramsey last year were a part of the conversation to be a really talented future duo inside. Stack maybe not having the season that she hoped, but to your point, playing a lot better here at the end of the year.
Yeah, just 4 points per game on the season, but in her last 5, almost 6 points per game. Just a little bit more reliable down the stretch.
But she's remained really good on
defense. Yes. The blocks continue to come.
102 in her career. Tolliver drives into the trees, draws the foul, and a quick answer. And Kevin Pedersen asking if those hands were straight up.
Tenbrock was still holding those hands up.
The hands were probably straight up, but you did see a little bit of contact with that lower half Tolliver. And some will say the ball doesn't lie, right? 6 points, though, for Tolliver here early on. Here's Stack at the top. Slip pass, Carter finishes at the rim.
Textbook high-low right there, getting it into Stack, opening that lower block. Great finish by Coastal, great passing.
Carter guarding Tolliver. Over to Henderson, who's working on Jemerson. Tolliver gets inside, Rossini at the rim. And Coastal following her, she'll head to the free throw line.
The Panthers give it right back to Coastal. They're able to move the ball themselves, finding an open player there. Down at the block, Rossini puts it up.
What doesn't get talked about enough when you talk about the play of Makayla Tolliver, she's such a talented scorer, but in that situation, you saw her draw 2 defenders, which then makes that paint wide open.
Well, when Henderson and Tolliver have such impacts on the game like that, that's how you're going to have to read the defense to open up other players.
Carter penetrates, split the double team, and a pretty finish.
What finesse from the sophomore. Able to just figure out a way to weave in there and lay it up.
Wide open, Addy for 3. And Carter skies for the rebound. Coastal has a lead for the moment. Into Stack. Goes under the rim, uses it to her advantage, and finishes for 2 more.
We did not see that from Riley Stack to start this season. She has developed her game a little more confident there in the paint. What a pretty move. So a
4-point edge for Coastal Carolina, led by as many as 8 today. Abasui inserts it to Tolliver, gonna drive on the big Stack. And couldn't finish, and now a foul underneath will go against Rossini, and it'll be her second, and it will take us to a timeout.
Delana Carter, the sophomore with the moves, a little Euro step, and a sink in for the sophomore.
Coastal leading by 4 here in the second.
Navigating day-to-day activities while experiencing joint pain is tough. Andrews makes it better. Our team will create a plan of care just for you to help you regain mobility and reduce discomfort. From diagnosis to treatment to rehabilitation, Andrews make it better.
Bank Plus keeps life moving. Because 99% of banking doesn't happen at the bank. Or at least it shouldn't. We're doing our best job when you don't have to think about it.
Let's make an offer.
When all you see is possibility.
We expand the kitchen in there. We'll make it all back in 6 months.
And you don't have to ask. Because life sure doesn't.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's really bad.
And we're here for it. All of it.
Weird, but beautiful.
Bank Plus. It's more than a name. It's a promise.
Welcome back to the Pensacola Bay Center, where Coastal Carolina leads Georgia State 29-25. Now, a big part of for Georgia State winning is the spread of wealth. A big part of that, guard Amaya Williams already having 12 points. Pretty quiet yesterday, and her head coach Jean Hill said she is a sniper, what we call a Swiss Army knife. Big focus was to have more depth than just Crystal Henderson and Tolliver, which combined for 60. Georgia State took 65 points yesterday, so Williams already stepping up, Noah.
Yeah, 8 points now for Williams. Georgia State trailing by 4. Hit a couple of threes early on, a couple of free throws. The senior out of Texas. But right now, her team trailing here at the midway point of the second quarter. Coastal Carolina starting to heat up on offense. They're 5 for their last 5 from the field. That one comes up short, and Tolliver has the board. The James Madison Dukes are in the building. 2 years in the league, 2 finals appearances, 1 championship, and thinking about bringing another title back to Harrisonburg. Getting a good look right now at these 2 teams. Who do you think is the tougher matchup for that James Madison team, Amanda?
I think Coastal will give them a run for their money just with that press. They really apply a lot of pressure and push the pace. They don't allow you to get set up, but JMU perfect on the season for a reason.
Gets deep, and that'll be a shot clock violation. Coastal Carolina gets it right back. Been over 2 minutes since Georgia State has scored in this game. Ten Brock has it in the corner. Stack. Open in the corner for the 3. That was Barney. Underneath for the cleanup is Ten Brock, who has her first basket.
An air ball turned into a quick bucket for Coastal. That worked out.
Ten Brock coming off of a career-high 15 points in that final game of the regular season, the win over App State. Henderson, quiet day so far. Had that one blocked. Just 3 points for her after a career-high 32 yesterday. Look at Carter weave. Can't finish. And now Barney picks up the personal.
Coastal sends in a new 5, a fresh 5. This is the normal starting lineup we saw throughout the season when everyone was healthy.
So Carolina, a lot of depth this year. You can say it's the deepest team that Kevin Pedersen has had to work with. Told us that the first 2 years of his coaching staff being at Coastal Carolina were building years, and this is the first year that he has a full contingent of players that he recruited.
Yeah, he said if anything goes wrong on the court, this is the first year that you can actually blame me.
Tolliver gonna trigger the 3 and connect.
She'll be a big piece to this offense if Henderson is contained by Coastal.
Bruce works inside, try to find Ramsey. Brooks going to work. Has an advantage on the smaller Henderson, but she's playing some good defense. Brooks, though, better offense as that one skips in.
Somehow, some way, able to dribble drive, going right at Henderson. Lifts the ball up and over. Maintains composure there.
Savannah Brooks has been a huge part of this 22-win season. Hampered by some chronic injury pain down the stretch of the year. We were told she's not 100% for this game, but gutting through it with 6 points here, and Coastal leads by 6. Tolliver can't cut in lead.
We were also told that she's sick of people asking her if she's okay. She's locked, ready to go.
I get that. Williams for 3. And a good rebound there for Tolliver. And without numbers, she'll slow it down for the moment. Neither team able to build a significant yet as Williams can't connect on the 3.
Georgia State trying to feed the hot hand.
Great pass inside. Williams tried to slip it to Barney. Unfortunate for her, it will stay with the Chants. Easiest player on this team to coach is what Kevin Pedersen calls Kristen Williams. Open at the top is Bruce. And a long rebound there goes to Williams. She can hit the circus shot. Sometimes her coach just wants her to hit the easy one. Ramsey, offensive foul. And she's down on the play. Second foul on Ramsey. She's gonna check out of this game as Stacks coming back in.
Trying to find a way to the rim there, but Georgia State doing a nice job of getting in position, setting up a wall.
This feels like a big possession here for Georgia State, trying to build some momentum at the end of this first half. Henderson launches the 3. Matthews tried to fight for the O board, couldn't come up with it. Georgia State just one of their last 7 from the field. Coastal with an opportunity to end this first half on a high note, about a 3-second difference between shot and game clock. Henderson up on Brooks. 5 on the shot clock. Coastal's got to go. Brooks downhill and out of bounds. The shot clock's going to be at just 1. Great defense there from Henderson.
Yeah, she knew what was coming.
Don't have much more time than a catch and shoot here. Maybe watch for a cutting stack in this situation. That's why you bring in Williams in this situation. Bigger height on the inbounder. Open in the corner, the 3, it'll count if it goes. And the miss there for Williams. The heave from half court almost went, but And after one half in Pensacola, it is Coastal Carolina in the lead. Their tournament debut here in Pensacola, fresh off of a 22-win regular season and a 6-point edge here in quarterfinal number 1.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Coastal can start heating up from the perimeter and Georgia State can get Henderson back involved.
Gene Hill getting an extra drink here before going back into the halftime. We're going to hear from Kevin Pedersen. Let's go down to Shelby Coppage.
Coach, Crystal Henderson, just 3 points. What's your defense doing so well?
Yeah, I mean, Crystal can beat you even if she's not scoring. She moves the ball so well. So we may be holding her to 3, but she's still having a very effective game out there. So defense doing a good job. We held them to 28, which was the goal. We can do a better job on the offensive side of the basketball, though.
What do you want to see offensively then?
Yeah, more moving. Like, I mean, what are we now? 1 of 10 from 3? Like, we just get a wide open 3. You can't ask for a more open shot than that. I like to just make a 3. Like, I think we're getting some good opportunities, but Georgia State continues to shoot the ball better from 3 than us. That's got to change in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Unfortunately for Kevin Pedersen, it's a little worse than that. 1 of 12 from downtown. Coastal has not been shooting it well early, but they have the lead at the half. 6 points, the advantage after one half in Pensacola against Georgia State.
To the floor from New Orleans, Louisiana, here is the Masters Touch Drumline.
The 2025 Sun Belt Basketball Championships are brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above, by Vivan U, the new era of event ticketing, James Madison University alumni, Dukes from day one, alumni for life. Visit The 2025 Sun Belt Basketball Championships are brought to you by Jersey Mike's, a sub above, by Vivan U, the new era of event ticketing, James Madison University alumni, Dukes from day one, alumni for life. Visit alumni.jmu.edu. Trade in and trade up to a new Kia at Pensacola's Kia Autosport. We want to see ya in a Kia. And by SoldOut.com, the official ticket resale marketplace for the Sun Belt Conference. Welcome back. It's halftime in Pensacola, and it was another exciting year of Sun Belt Conference women's basketball as we get a look at the major award winners in the conference, and they were painted purple by the James Madison Dukes. Peyton Daniel taking home Player of the Year. Rose Scott's the 6th Woman of the Year. But, Amanda, I want to park on Defensive Player of the Year, Mahogany Matthews. She was an offense's worst nightmare this season.
Yeah, the 6'1" force, second in the nation with 97 blocks this season, averaging just over 3 blocks per game. Head coach Jean Hill calls her a mistake eraser. Told me earlier this year that she wanted to be Defensive Player of the Year, and here we are, Noah.
Now, James Madison, Sean O'Regan, first-time Coach of the Year after a special regular season for the Dukes.
A perfect regular season, 18-0 in Sun Belt play. The 4th undefeated conference season for Coach O'Regan, sets the program record with 27 wins in the regular season. An elite defense and offense, putting them in that national spotlight this year.
His team was led by a dynamic duo, and as we take a look at the first-team honorees in the conference, Ksenia Kozlova and Peyton McDaniel led the way for James Madison this year.
What a deadly duo. 28 points per game combined for the two. They were true focal points of last year's team, and now this year the newcomers and transfers have sharpened the duo even more.
Jacayla Johnson, Aislinn Hayes, Zay Dyer making up the other 3 on the first team. Moving on to the second team all-conference, and this is where Louisiana's Erica Lafayette shined. First player for Louisiana since the 2016-17 season with over 400 points.
Yeah, newcomer of the year and second team here. Head coach Gary Broadhead saying that she's never seen a shot she doesn't like, and that's the mentality that made her 3rd in the Sun Belt in scoring this year.
Zion Shannon for Arkansas State, Savannah Brooks, India Buford, and Malia up the other members of the second team this year. Well, we've got a half up Pensacola. When we come back, we'll take a look at highlights and stats from the first half. Back in Pensacola, we're Coastal Carolina with a 6-point edge at the half. And as we get you set for the second half of this game, we welcome you into the Bank Plus studios here in New Orleans. She's Amanda, and I'm Noah Frary. And Amanda, when you look at this Coastal team, the three-point shot, as Kevin Pedersen said, wasn't working for them, but they had a big advantage inside.
Yep, 26 points in the paint. They've got 8 different players with points today as well. They haven't had to just rely on Alancia Ramsey or Riley down there to get the job done. And they've got a lot of points off of their defense as well. That defense fueling the offense, 8 fast break points. They've been able to pick up the pace defensively to fuel that offense.
Now for Georgia State yesterday, it was the Tolliver and Henderson show, 60 to 65 points. Today it's been a lot more balanced, and as we take a look at our first half highlights, that's the theme right now. Georgia State spreading out the wealth today.
Yep, that's something Coach Gene Hill wanted to see because they knew this Coastal defense was going to collapse on Henderson, holding her to just 3 points right now. So Tolliver picking up the pace there. Nice little jump stop, a 3-point play. And then from the perimeter as well, she's been able to find her stroke back there. But for Coastal, they found multiple players to get the job done. Marable early on being able to hit some tough shots. Efficient shot selection from her, though, and then a big steal from Savannah Brooks for a fast break layup. She's done things on both ends of the court, picking up some offensive charges, and then also just bodying her way into the paint for 2.
Coastal's depth providing some great bench points so far in this game, 23 points. As we get a look at the first half stats, again, the bench stands out, the paint stands out. If you're Georgia State, how do you improve the looks you're getting offensively?
Well, you have to make better passes. Right now, Coastal, that chaos, so much pressure that it really makes you kind of frantic and frazzled. That's the goal of the chaos. So Georgia State just needs to stay composed, make better passes, and find the right shots. You can tell they're forcing some of those shots because of that pace. So they just need to take a deep breath, if you will, and just focus on their game and slow it down.
Well, the second half of this first quarterfinal game in Pensacola will get restarted when we come back. Coastal Carolina up by 6 at the break. Georgia State's Michaela Tolliver catching a breather here ahead of the second half. 9 points in that first half after a career-high 28 yesterday. Maya Williams having a big half for Georgia State as well. On the other side for Coastal Carolina, pretty balanced attack right now. 5 players have 5 or more points in this contest.
A lot of players able to find that paint production, but it's just a matter of time when someone starts getting hot from the 3.
Well, Coastal Carolina with a 6-point edge, trying to get to their first semifinal in program history since joining the Sun Belt. They will face James Madison if they can get through. The winner of this game will face the regular season undefeated Dukes. Troy Marshall coming up. Marshall's been an early story, the Cinderella right now. The shoe's still fitting.
Yeah, they've been really exciting to watch because you just never know what to expect, if they still have legs or not. But going up against a fresh and healthy Troy team, that'll be fun.
That's some injuries that they picked up yesterday as well. We'll see if Aislinn Hayes goes. Well, let's check in with Shelby Coppage, who caught up with Gene Hill at half.
Noah, Georgia State head coach Gene Hill said, I like that our attack is much more balanced and spread out, but we have to do a better job of using our legs. He said his players are not knocking down shots and they need more confidence, but he said, I'm mostly concerned with the defense. He said that Coastal Carolina has been controlling us that whole first half and attacking us. If we can do a better job on that end, everything will come together for us.
These players playing perhaps with some tired legs after 2 hard victories over the last 2 days. And Amanda, you know as well as I do, when your legs are tired, that can affect your shots, and it can also just affect the overall mental aspects of this game.
Yeah, well, that's what Coach Hill's saying. You know, maybe once they can pride themselves on their defense, something they've been doing all year, that can give them confidence on the offensive side of things and maybe produce some easy layups that don't require too much leg power.
And they leaned on that defense in the second half yesterday against Old Dominion, outscoring them 36-29. They held that really good ODU offense to just 29 points in the come-from-behind win. Need it again here. They will trail by 6 as we head to the third quarter. Coastal Carolina, the 4 seed, trying to get to their first ever semifinal. This is their first quarterfinal appearance, and Georgia State's already made a lot of history in this tournament. 2 wins for the first time in program history at the Sun Belt Tournament. Coastal Carolina leading for most of this game. The lead was 8 at one point. Marable had a good start to this game, been quiet since. Here's Ponder from the corner, reins in the 3, and that has to be a welcome sign for the Coastal coaching staff.
Just a great overall possession for Coastal, able to really move the ball around despite Georgia State tightening things up on defense, but they find Ponder open in the corner.
Tolliver can't answer. Matthews creates a second chance, and it goes to Coastal. Ponder turns it over. She played such a big role down the stretch when Savannah Brooks, who will finish at the line right here, went out with injury. But now this team is better for it, and Brooks will head to the free throw line trying to make this a 10-point game.
I feel like each of her layups so far coming in this game have been through physical contact, but she's able to finish at the rim. She's such an experienced guard getting down the floor. Have that touch at the basket.
The foul goes on Henderson. It's her first. We're curious to see, as this tournament went on, how would the upper seeds play in their first game of the tournament after having to sit for the lengthy stretch after the end of the regular season. Feels like Coastal starting to get hot here in Pensacola. And Ponder going to be called for her 3rd personal.
Coach Pedersen said they got a weekend off for the first time since like October or September, but then they went hard Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday to get back into rhythm. Looks like that's paying off for them here as they've been able to keep that pace.
He told us that selfishly he really enjoyed the weekend off. His daughter, who's a GA under Sean Poppy at Clemson, was having her senior day. He missed his son's senior day last year, who was a GA under Brad Brownell. Him and his wife were able to go up and witness that event, and in the midst of a long season, it's nice to be able to spend some time with family. Ramsey will head to the line, and Holloman will pick up the foul.
You can just tell this team shares a chemistry on and off the court. Marable brings it down, gives it to Brooks, and then Brooks just with that sixth sense of seeing Ramsey there running down the floor. Again, Noah, Valencia Ramsey doing a great job of getting down that court. This Coastal team took a trip to Greece to start the season. That chemistry bleeding on the court throughout this year.
Ramsey hits 1 of 2. Coastal just 4 of 9 from the free throw line. Those are some points that they've left on the table here early. Crystal Henderson still trying to get going. Just 3 points today after the career day yesterday. Tolliver dials up the 3, can't connect. And Ponder can't keep it in play. It's been over 2 minutes since Georgia State's last points in this game. 0 for 5 from the field during that stretch. Mahogany Matthews on the ground. Tolliver spins into some open real estate and cooks.
Matthews still on the floor, working her way up. That leg, saw her get shaken up yesterday, had to get that leg wrapped up. She'll limp off the court here. Big part of what this Georgia State team does so well.
Matthews went off the floor yesterday. You did not know if you would see her again in this tournament. She's been gutting it out.
Looks like her left foot landed on Jalen Ponder's right foot. It's an awkward fall.
That leg was heavily taped yesterday when she came back in. You can see the knee brace there today. Rossini nearly created the turnover. Ponder downhill, the athleticism on full display.
Coach Pedersen saying that if there was ever a player you could just go one-on-one and know you'd win with, is going to be Jalen Ponder. Her ability to get to the rim in that open floor, just incredible.
She's got that it factor, and that can play big here in the postseason. Tolliver and Ponder skies for the board. Now she'll push. Brooks considered the transition 3. Now finds Ramsey, who is fouled. Third foul on Rossini. Be a big storyline with Matthews having to go to the bench a few moments ago. She's been that backup center here in the tournament.
She's 5'10", and Matthews brings that 6'1" length to her. Rossini's got to make up for that with her athleticism.
Ponder couldn't roll that one in. And back to Georgia State it goes. Maya Williams coming in after an 8-point first half, hit a couple of threes. Addie checks out. Williams into the game, she's blocked by Ramsey. Tolliver drives, kicks, extra pass. Williams open for 3. And here in the third quarter.
Well, that's a good look by Georgia State. Great ball movement. Sure, coach is happy with those moves.
Now a turnover. And it'll be an offensive foul against Maya Williams.
Savannah Brooks has now taken 3 offensive charges. A player that had inconsistent play time because of injuries, but she's able to embrace that physicality here in March.
Coastal Carolina up by double figures with 5:39 to go in the third. Coastal trying to get to their first semifinal in Sun Belt history.
Kids experience a better way to tackle home improvement with Home Outlet. Kitchens, baths, floors, doors, and more at the guaranteed lowest price. Advancing the Sun Belt Conference is proud to use Wilson basketballs. Wilson is now used by more teams than any other ball, and it's also the official ball of the NBA and NCAA March Madness. Learn more at wilson.com. WABC is Pensacola's newest radio station, the all-new Hot 94.1, playing today's hottest hits and best throwbacks. It's the all-new Hot 94.1. And now, fans, please welcome the Georgia State Panthers to the floor. It's time for the SBC T-shirt drop. Here is the Flurry T-shirt.
They take Coastal Carolina advantage here midway through the third quarter. And Amanda, we were talking about it off air. Coastal right now managing this game from a tempo standpoint. Georgia State's not been able to play the way they're used to.
Yep, pace is such a priority for this Coastal team with that defense, the way they push the ball, and they like their offense to go fast too. But for Georgia State, that pace is causing some turnovers. It's causing them to force some shots, not getting the best looks. And that creates that one of the last 8 from the field for them, not finding that rhythm because they're getting forced into some tough shots.
But in all honesty, neither team has had much of an offensive rhythm here in the third quarter. Just 12 combined points as action restarts. Spot in the semifinal and a date with the Dukes is on the line as Stack with a nice catch in the finish.
One of those textbook plays to get a post there at the top of the key and then drop it down to the opposite block.
This Coastal team trying to get to their first semifinal in program history. Would have had a really good chance back in that 2019-20 season before COVID ended the year. Wow, if that had gone, that would have been a special shot there from Tolliver.
Sports Center top 10?
Maybe. Or at least a bad beat. Carter inside for Barney. Pitch back out. Jemerson, the long 2. Into the hands of Tolliver. The pace right now, it feels like favoring Coastal Carolina. And an air ball there from Henderson, who's just never gotten going today. She has 3 points. Her team is trailing by 12. And we're going right back out to break. Coastal Carolina with an advantage here midway through the third.
Pittsburgh thanks to Andrews Institute for Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, the official sports medicine partner of the Sun Belt Conference. Andrews Institute offers locations across the area. To learn more or to schedule an appointment, visit andrewsinstitute.com. Discover your soundtrack
Mahogany Matthews back in there for Georgia State. She has been banged up in this tournament, but proven to be one tough cookie here in Pensacola. Her team going to need her down the stretch. Coastal's got a lot of good looks in the paint in this game. They could really use their rim protector here late. Coastal will start with the basketball out of the timeout. Leading by 12 here, their largest lead. Deshaun's trying to set up a date with JMU tomorrow. Stack had to give it up. Jemerson goes back into Stack, he'll get it right back. Tenbrock was wide open inside, couldn't get it to her quickly enough, and there's the block from Matthews.
Great defensive possession for Georgia State.
Trying to capitalize on offense. And they can't. And now it's Carter pushing. Coastal trying to add to their lead. Tenbrock for three, she's got it. And Coastal has their largest lead of this game.
Amelia Tenbrock has really stepped up the latter half of the season. The first 13 games of Sun Belt play, she was 2 of 18 from the three. Now in her last 5 games, headed into this tournament, shooting 57% from the perimeter, knocking down 8 in her last 5, and now she's adding on to it.
How do you jumpstart this Georgia State offense?
Well, I was gonna say with Henderson there, but she's been quiet today. Coastal doing a nice job of containing her.
And now a foul, that'll be on Carter.
Tenbrock, McNeese State transfer, a team high, 44 threes made last year. And now just 20 on the season this year, but knocking them down when it counts.
Fresh 5 here for Kevin Pedersen's side. Seen some different rotations than you saw during the regular season. He's kind of been going 5 for 5 here. You wondered with having to play what could be 3 games in 3 days, how would that affect how these coaches would coach here at the end? Tolliver into the paint, pulls up and hits.
Yeah, she's one that can get going. She's been the only one to really aggressively attack this paint. We know she's more of that downhill scorer, that jump stop. Deadly, allows her to get composure and sink the 2.
That was Georgia State's first field goal in their last 8 attempts. They could use a stop here defensively. Ponders had a good second half, gets downhill. Barney will head to the free throw line.
What Tolliver does so well. She doesn't just sit back there beyond the arc to take threes. She also just pump fakes, drives with that jump stop, able to attack and get to the rim, maybe spark something for this Panthers team that hasn't seen their offense do much this second half.
That foul was on Maya Williams. It's her second personal foul. 5th foul on Georgia State, so Coastal Carolina in the bonus for the remainder of the quarter. The lead is 15. Williams has it poked away. Ponder guarded by Maya Williams here in the right corner. Gets a step, takes the 3, and hits it.
Ponder is just taking advantage of that matchup. Mahogany Matthews not as quick and twitchy like Ponder is, with length and speed.
Tolliver has her second basket in a row, trying to spark Georgia State.
Forget the jump stop layup. Tolliver wanted all the rim that time. Drawing a lot of contact, gets herself to the line. Good drive, Ponder just comes down on her. Obviously, a lot of contact there.
So 4 fouls now on Ponder. She comes out of this game. In and out for Tolliver. 15 more points today. 18 consecutive games with double-digit scoring for number 2 in black. Here's Marable. Had the hot start today. Kristen Williams. Slipped inside by Bruce, and it goes back to Georgia State. If you're Georgia State here, they need to start to put some good offensive possessions together because Coastal has the big lead and the fourth quarter's not far away.
Yeah, and they've been able to find some spark in Tolliver there, but she'll come out as they need to get someone else going. We've seen both of the Williams be able to get in here, especially Maya has been able to knock down some shots. Maybe she can get going from the 3.
A good look inside as Georgia State's Patience Williams picks up the 2.
Or attack the paint, that works too.
A big deficit inside the paint in this game for the Panthers. Marable flanked by Henderson. She'll drive on her. Here's Ramsey, who will head back to the free throw line. It's felt like she's lived there at times today as Matthews draws the personal. Actually, they will give it to Maya Williams. Henderson getting a breather here as Igosa Abasui checks in for Georgia State.
Ramsey, just a sophomore, a young player for this Coastal team that is relied on a lot. Has grown in that emotional aspect of her game to stay composed.
Deficit 15 here for State. We approach the final seconds of this third quarter. Matthews. Abasui has her first basket of the tournament.
Great cut, really pulled that Coastal defense up too high. Wide open layup for Georgia State.
Coastal Carolina hoping to end this third quarter on a high note. Marable gets downhill. Williams nearly tied her up, now loses it. Maya Williams takes the 3 and comes up short at the buzzer. So the fourth quarter coming up in Pensacola. Coastal Carolina trying to keep this fantastic season alive. Georgia State hanging by a thread. The shots up by 13 and head to the fourth quarter in Pensacola.
Sunbelt fans, visit SoldOut.com, the official ticket resale marketplace for the Sunbelt Conference. Use the code Sunbelt at checkout for 10% off when you order tickets at SoldOut.com. Lafayette is at the heart of Louisiana's king and country, an area known as the happiest city in America, and it's no mystery why. Its distinctive blend of food, music, and culture people from all over heading down south with a smile. Visit LafayetteTravel.com to plan your getaway today. And now, fans, please turn your attention to the video board and scan the QR code to play our SBC Scramble.
Fourth quarter time in Pensacola. Coastal Carolina up by 13, and right now Georgia State has taken 14 more shots than Coastal Carolina in this game, but 28%, Amanda. They're just not taking advantage of their opportunities.
Correct, and some of their opportunities are probably not the best shot that they're capable of getting, but that Coastal Carolina pressure is forcing them to take some uncomfortable shots. And for Coastal, they got their ball going, something they lacked in the first half. 1 of 12 from the perimeter, and now they were 3 of 3 from in that third quarter, really lighting things up from outside, making it hard for this Georgia State team to catch up.
Coastal's bench score has been good, but maybe a little bit deceptive there as a lot of the came off the bench to begin this game. Nonetheless, a 13-point advantage for Coastal here heading to the fourth quarter. Brooks trying to tiptoe the end line, steps out of bounds.
Georgia State doing a nice job of guarding Alancia Ramsey, not letting her get that ball up into the rim.
Crystal Henderson playing with 3 fouls here as we entered the fourth quarter of play. Just 3 today. Coastal wanted to shut her down. They largely have. Tolliver's having a good second half so far. It will stay with the Panthers off the miss.
That's what you get with Riley Stack's presence down there. A little too much heat on that one from Tolliver.
She has 15 points in this game. 6 in the second half. Henderson, corner 3 coming from Abasui. And Marable has the board. Tight defense. Marable able to get it away. Brooks got deep on Matthews. And now a tie up here, and possession will give it to Georgia State. If you're the Panthers right now, Amanda, how do you go about starting a run?
Well, you have to break that press first. You have to get through that Coastal Chaos full court press and maybe break it a couple times to get your confidence up. Easy layups instead of forcing those 3 shots that, you know, Georgia State doesn't really rely on the 3. They should get Mahogany Matthews involved, get those paint points, quick layups.
Now Georgia State has not turned it over much in this game, just 9 turnovers. But they have advantage of their opportunities on offense. Tolliver trying to take advantage here, does. And a quick timeout is coming. Tolliver up to 18 on the day, a 10-point game. It may have been a foul away from the ball as opposed to a timeout.
Kristen Williams shaken up on the play here. Look. We just ran right into that screen. I'll knock the wind out of you.
And I don't actually think there was a foul at all. It was just a whistle stopping play because she was slow to get up. So the 3 counts for Tolliver. She's got 18, and the Coastal lead is just 10. And now Georgia State is starting to architect a run as Coastal Carolina has turned it over for the 14th time.
Yeah, well, Henderson had 32 points yesterday. Tolliver was a part of that 2-headed monster, and now she's been able to be uncontainable here in the second half and see if they can get other players going as well, as Georgia State really did want to spread this offense out.
Coastal averaged 17.5 turnovers per game against this Georgia State team in the regular season. That number just continues to creep up. Tolliver trying to continue her big day. She's over 20, and Georgia State's within 7. Ponder trying to respond and does, and got stepped on. Ponder shaken up on the play, had the finish. It looked like she got stepped on the way through. No anxious moments here for Coastal Carolina. Ponder, though, going to get to her legs under her own power. Here's a look at the play. And it kind of looks like there. I been done initially, but just colliding there with Matthews on the way down.
Yeah, she was coming in with a lot of speed, a lot of power there on that drive.
Ponder comes out of the game, at least for the moment. Georgia State is putting together that run you were hoping to see if you were a Panthers fan.
Spearheaded by Tolliver and her hot hand behind the arc.
What hasn't she done so far in this tournament? Henderson looking for her first three and still hunting it. Brooks, a great pass into Ramsey, got her defender in the air and draws the foul. And Ramsey will head to the free throw line for shot 7 and 8 of the day.
That's going to be there every time with this Georgia State defense when they bring two defenders up there to guard that point player. Marable doing a great job of handling that pressure. You've got those two defenders up top. That leaves that paint a little open for Ramsey to get in there.
So if you're Georgia State right now, how do you get Crystal Henderson going? Because the baskets for her today have felt like, you know, trying to find a parking spot in Atlanta.
Yeah, she was open in that last one. That's a good three shot that she can knock down, but she really gets her offensive game going when she's able to drive and get herself to the free throw line or finish, and that Coastal defense has been suffocating her, but she's also got a handful of assists in here. She's been impacting the game in other ways.
Probably need her scoring down the stretch unless Tolliver continues to go off. Couldn't hit the three that time. Back to double figures. Coastal can't dream about a semifinal yet, but they're in great position. Marable, Brooks open in the corner. Add to the lead. Off of Ponder, who just checked back in.
Pedersen A-okay with Ponder out here playing with 4 fouls.
Abasui comes out. Haley Addy back in, is at a quiet tournament. Some full court pressure here from Coastal. Addy, the three on the way and hits it. A great substitution there for Jean Hill.
One of those snipers, one of those sharp shooters that can really spark this Georgia State offense.
They could use a stop, and they won't get one here as Mahogany Matthews is going to draw the foul.
Her third foul today. She likes those steals. That one comes behind. But Addy nailing the three. She gets subbed in off the bench, and she was ready to go.
You need to be ready when your number is called, and Addy was that moment. They did confirm the time on the shot clock. It will stay at 23 seconds. 8-point Coastal edge. Game trying to hang on. Ramsey into Ponder, gets it back. Too strong, Brooks. Fouled by Matthews. And that'll be 4 fouls now on the Georgia State big.
Yeah, quick back-to-back fouls on Matthews. Savannah Brooks, one of those hustle players, the offensive charges and the offensive rebounds.
Third foul of the quarter on Georgia State. They're starting to rack up. There is a silver lining. This has been a Coastal Carolina team that at times this year just has not been a great free throw shooting team. Double figures today for Brooks. Third player over the 10-point mark for Coastal Carolina. A lot of great shooters on the floor now for Georgia State. Here's one of them, Williams. Can't connect. Ahead for Brooks. Look at Ramsey running the floor again and finishes at the 10.
Coastal just attacking Georgia State's legs here, just pushing that ball down the court. Lancia Ramsey keeping up with the pace herself, getting down there.
Tollivert Couldn't hit the three, but it wouldn't have counted. It's an offensive foul. That's on Matthews, and she's fouled out.
Ramsey with the layup here. Possession beforehand.
So we'll never know how healthy Mahogany Matthews really was in this game. She was noticeably limping at times after picking up that knee injury yesterday, but a disappointing end of this game for her, now hoping her teammates can keep this season alive. Carter's fouled. Four fouls now on Williams, and the fouls are starting to build up for Georgia State as Coastal Carolina will be in the bonus for the remainder of the fourth quarter. Coastal Carolina trying to hang on right now. Just over 5 minutes away from their first ever trip to a Sun Belt semifinal. Carter hits the second. And Coastal's done a nice job here after the run there for Georgia State that got this game to within 8 of kind of stunting that run.
Yeah, and not forcing the three ball. They just made their money down there with Alancia Ramsey getting back down the floor.
Henderson hits the shot. Just her second shot from the field in this game. She's got 5, coming off of a career-high 32-point performance yesterday.
These kind of lane line drives right there with a nice step that we saw all day in that 32-point performance. I think Coastal has done a great job of containing her today, but now she's forcing it.
Fouls on Marable, and Henderson can't take advantage of the free one. Coastal just looks like they have fresher legs right now. Ramsey's open inside. That would be the dagger. Still early, but Coastal Carolina is not taking their foot off the gas pedal. And now a timeout here for Georgia State and Jean Hill. And we will take it with them. Coastal Carolina trying to get to their first semifinal in program history. 5:01 in the fourth quarter.
This film is all the Sun Belt baseball action. Tickets are now on sale. Scan the QR code on the video board to purchase. Advanced Engineered Equipment Services is bringing energy efficient solutions to facilities across the Southeast and is proud to support the Sun Belt Conference Championship. See more at engineeredcooling.com. And Vince, the fun doesn't stop this week. Join us for our Fan Fest going on now until 2 p.m. Walk-up registrations for the Dribble Drive begin at 2 p.m. in the concourse. And a halftime performance by Dominique Emmons on Monday. We can't wait to see you for more Sun Belt basketball action. And now, fans, please welcome Coastal Carolina's spirit to the floor. It's time for our SBC t-shirt toss. Folks, let's hear it. Who wants a
An exciting first 35 minutes of this game, setting us up for a thrilling conclusion here in Pensacola. Two teams trying to get to their first ever semifinal since joining the Sun Belt Conference. Coastal Carolina up by 13 with under 5 minutes to go. Has to be feeling good. Henderson misses the two.
Coastal shooting 64% from the field in this second half. They haven't been slowed down offensively today.
And after seeing some substitution patterns from Kevin Pedersen, it's largely been the starters down the stretch as Marable pitches that one out of bounds.
A rare turnover for Jaden Marable.
The winner of this game will face the #1 seeded James Madison Dukes. It'll be an uphill climb for both teams. Both of these programs 0-2 during the regular season against James Madison, but who wasn't defeated against JMU in conference play? The answer, no one, as Williams hits the three to get back within 10.
Maya Williams, 3 for 8 now from beyond the arc.
Only a Coastal team that loves to play at a fast pace. Right here, it's moved to a snail's pace as they try to tick every second off this clock. Back out to Marable. Got a step there on Addy. Pulls for two and hits it.
She can create shots all over that half court, whether it's from the three or she's driving. She just takes what the defense shows her.
And you can start to feel it away here for Georgia State. Marable tracks it down in the corner. And with every missed shot, about 30 seconds is coming off of this clock.
Coastal in no hurry.
For Georgia State, it's been a tournament to remember. 2 wins, the most that they've ever had in a Sun Belt tournament. But Amanda, you questioned how would they look playing in the third game in 3 days. This is different than the Marshall team that we're going to see in the next game against Troy, who maybe has a little bit more depth. Georgia State's looked a little tired today, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Georgia State team doesn't have as much depth as a team like Marshall or Coastal for that matter. They don't sub in 5 at a time. They don't have that 10-man rotation. So you can see those legs getting the worst of it.
That Troy versus Marshall game going to happen about 30 minutes after the conclusion of this contest. And Coastal Carolina is trying to sprint through the finish line, and the look there on Henderson's face says it all.
Jaden Marable doing a great job of just figuring out what she can get from this Panthers defense. She took the mid-range jumper last time. This time she chose a lane, draw contact, and now gets herself to the line.
Marable converts. 11 points today for the high IQ point guard. Tolliver got inside. She'll head to the free throw line, and what a tournament it's been for Michaela Tolliver. 28 yesterday. It was her 6th 20-plus point performance of the season. Senior out of Melbourne, Florida, has come to this tournament, and for large swaths of this tournament has put Georgia State on her back.
Spent all 4 years at Georgia State, a player that really bought into what the Panthers were trying to do, didn't transfer, wanted to work on her craft, build something at Georgia State.
It was not for the lack of offers in the offseason, but Gene Hill telling us that Michaela Tolliver wanted to help build something here at Georgia State. She will leave a legacy here, a couple of Sun Belt tournament wins. And now an offensive foul there against Jaden Marable. So Georgia State gets it back. Seemed like both coaches were a little fired up right there. Curious if they were going at each other. Here's Addy for 3. Tolliver missed it. And now Williams will head to the free throw line. And Kevin Pedersen having some frank discussions with the officiating staff.
if you're Coastal, that's not what you want. You don't want to stop the clock and give Georgia State some freebies here down the stretch. This is a team that needs to hang in there.
Kevin Pedersen has done a lot of winning in his career, at over 350 career wins in 17 seasons. At Lander, 13 trips to the NCAA tournament at the Division II level. 14 wins in year 1, 15 in year 2. He's going to pick up 23 here today. And we'll get to a semifinal for the first time since Coastal Carolina joined the Sun Belt.
Finishing off the season 9-1 in conference play. You know, he told us that he really thought he let some people down last year. They underachieved last year, but this year, year 3 was the goal from the beginning.
Was a little bit in doubt midway through the season. There was a road trip to James Madison that really changed the trajectory of this season as we see Ramsey finish inside. They got stuck up in Harrisonburg due to snow. They had a couple of extra days to spend with each other to practice, and he said that sparked that end of year run that saw them go 9-1, and now just a few moments away from going to the semifinals to face that very same James Madison team.
Yeah, I mean, they were 4-5 after that loss.
Tollivert hits the 3. 25 more today after the career high 28 yesterday. That should have been a turnover. Ramsey off the glass, it'll skip out. Nothing but the bucket right there for Alancia Ramsey. Henderson, the long 3, and the bank open on a Saturday. Mercilessly there for Henderson, who's had a tough day, coming off of the career high 32 yesterday.
Legs tired, but somehow puts that shot up and in.
And Amanda, don't look now, but we were ready to kind of put the final nail in the coffin here for Georgia State, down big with under 2 minutes to go, but suddenly you get the 3. This is an 8-point game, and you're right in this game.
Yeah, Coastal with 16 turnovers so far. 9 of them coming in this second half. That'll slow you down offensively, taking away those possessions, giving them back to Georgia State.
6 of 12 here from 3 in this fourth quarter are the Panthers. So what's the strategy here for Georgia State? You're down by 8, minute 13 to go. How do you get back into this game?
Well, you just saw Henderson drain a 3. That's a great sign for your offense, as she can be a threat now from the perimeter, and you've got Tollivert that seems to, you know, have a full amount of energy no matter how many games she's been playing. So you've got those 2 to work with. You've been able to get that 3 going and get hot and turn Coastal over.
And you have to wonder, if you're Georgia State, when is too early to play the foul game? Because we've talked about Coastal struggles at the free throw this year, just 67% during the regular season. It's 296th in the country. Today, 13 of 20 at the line. So do you start putting them at the line this early?
Well, I think at first you start to rely on your defense. This is the Georgia State team that leads the conference in steals. They can turn you over. They can create those possessions without having to foul right away. But I do think down the stretch that'll be something to watch.
Coastal gets it in bounds. Here comes the pressure. Marable's fouled, and there's our answer. Jean Hill prepared to play the foul game here with over a minute to go in the fourth quarter. And this 1 minute of play could take quite a while at this rate.
Marable, just a 58% free throw shooter, but Coach Pedersen telling me earlier this season that he goes, I swear we're sitting there at practice and she's draining them all, but we get into the games and she just can't convert. Now the postseason on the line.
Some pressure free throws here from the graduate transfer from Northern Illinois. Hits the first. She has 12 points today. 4 different Coastal players in double figures. And the second goes in. The lead back to double figures.
Now, Coastal will not let up that pressure. They'll continue to cause that chaos.
You get the sense that Coastal might be one stop away from icing this game. Henderson, though, gets downhill. And that's big because now an opportunity for points with the clock stopped and only a few seconds go off the clock.
That's one of the ways she made her money yesterday, being able to drive those lanes, finish through contact, or just get herself to the line, clock, put up points.
Henderson was 12 for 16 from the charity stripe in that 32-point performance yesterday. Hits the first. And again, expect the pressure from Georgia State on a make here. Henderson misses the second, tipped out of bounds, and it goes to Coastal Carolina. Just a quiet day for Crystal Henderson, 9 points on the afternoon.
She played all 40 minutes, basically, of that game yesterday. Most of the game today.
And I believe they are going to video review here to see who that ball was actually out off of. On the floor, it was called off of Georgia State, meaning Coastal Carolina would get it back.
Obviously, this possession, a big deal for these teams. Officials making sure they get it right.
Here's a look.
Mallory Bruce. Kylie Addy.
Tough to tell on that angle. Bruce's hand was clearly closer to the basketball, but did Addy touch it and propel it out of bounds? Sometimes in these situations, you'll hear them simply say, call standing, meaning there wasn't enough video evidence to overturn. We'll see if that's where they trend here. Georgia State trailing by 9 here, under a minute to go in the fourth quarter. Already a tournament, remember, with 2 wins. Coming into this year, they had just 1 win in their Sun Belt history in this event. That came back in that 2022-23 season. Jean Hill, with the win yesterday, has now guaranteed the 3rd winning season in the last 4 years for this Panthers program. They've consistently been in the middle of the pack, but haven't been able to take that next step into the upper echelon of this league. If you're Jean Hill, Amanda, what would be that next step?
Well, I think it's the first priority for a lot of these coaches is retaining some players as well. You want to keep the key pieces that helped you build up to that success, but then bring in some other pieces as well. Georgia State's been known for their defense, but maybe bring in, you know, some more post players, because Mahogany Matthews, a graduate, she'll be gone. Kind of try to fill those pieces in the portal or some new recruits.
Crystal Henderson, still a sophomore. Will she stay? Mahogany Matthews will see the end of her career that started all the way back in 2019 come to an end. Cheyenne Holloman, also a senior. Michaela Tollivert is as well. So a lot of veteran experience on this Georgia State team. Matthews there with a season to remember, put up huge block numbers, program record numbers. Matthews with the 4 blocks today, 110 blocks this season.
Making it hard for the Georgia State post to come in there and break that one.
He broke the previous record. Holloman hits the 2 on the inbound. It's a 7-point game and a quick foul. And I told you this minute left on the clock was going to be a bit deceptive. Georgia State forcing Coastal Carolina to earn things at the free throw line.
The shots sit 11th in the Sun Belt with that free throw percentage, but Marible's done a nice job today.
Four for 4 from the line is Jaden Marable. She's been the only player to start every game this year, 30 for 30. And hitting some big free throws down the stretch.
She'll go out and will come in. Delanna Carter, one of the best on-ball defenders this team has.
Georgia State's got to work quickly. Henderson being locked up by Carter, trying to get free. Got a step on her, fouled, and Henderson is going to the line.
Thought Carter did a great job of working her down the court, but Henderson wills her way to the rim. Just tucking that ball in for protection. Don't see where the contact was exactly.
Kevin Pedersen always coaching to the end of this game. Crystal Henderson at the free throw line. The free throw gives her 10 on the afternoon. She was the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year last year. Has had a big tournament here this week in Pensacola. Hits a pair. Back to a 7-point game. Henderson's been coming out on defense with the 4 personal fouls.
I feel like we're getting hockey substitutions in here, just possession by possession.
Into the hands of Savannah Brooks. 77% free throw shooter will step to the line. That foul will be on Williams. And the offensive weapons coming back in for Georgia State. At some point, they're going to need to hit a big shot down the stretch here because you can't just continue to trade 2s and for 3s.
Well, they have a couple players that have already done so in this game. Oliver and Savannah Brooks, the Delaware State transfer, really excelled here at Coastal, and Kevin Pedersen said can't give himself credit for that. She's just benefited from talented players around her.
12 points now for Brooks. The lead grows back to 9. Henderson takes it across midcourt. Tolliver looking for the 3. Airballs it off the hands of Maya Williams. And Coastal Carolina just 28 seconds away from a trip to the semis.
Carter, a great job defensively, goes to sit back on the bench. Jaden Marable comes in to lead the offense.
Coming up at the conclusion of this one, about 30 minutes following, it will be Marshall facing a Troy team that's had some heartbreaking exits the last couple of years. Back-to-back quarterfinal exits for Shanda Rigby's side. One to Old Dominion last year, to Louisiana. They've had a huge regular season, but going up against the early tournament story in Marshall, that's coming up a little bit later on. Coastal Carolina has done something that they've never done before. The Chanticleers are heading to the semifinal in Pensacola. A date with the Dukes has been set up.
54 bench points. Obviously the starters look a little different today, but they've been able to get the job done with a lot of their depth and in the paint as well. Alancia Ramsey helping that 44-point paint production day for the Chants. 18 points for the sophomore.
7th double-double of the season for Ramsey, who is our Jersey Mike's player at the game. She was so critical to this win. Her ability to run the floor, create space inside, just could not be matched here in this contest. The young sophomore propelling her team to the semifinal of this tournament. And in the words of the famous basketball player, job's not done.
Not done yet. They'll continue to write history as they push in this tournament. Number 4 seed.
Georgia State with nothing to hang their heads on. Couple of wins at this tournament, the first time in program history that they've done that. Gene Hill will go back to work in the offseason. He's going to have to retool. But today it was Coastal Carolina's day, and Kevin Pedersen's side doing what they set out to do. Have a big season down in Conway. They handled business during the regular season and now take care of their first game here in Pensacola. We're going to hear from him in just a moment. The Chanticleers are winners here in Pensacola today, and for the first time in their Sun Belt Tournament history. They're going to the semifinals. Shelby Coppage has Kevin Pedersen.
Coach, 4 of your players scoring double digits. What was going so well chemistry-wise?
Yeah, we felt like our depth has been our strength all season long. You know, we talk about coastal chaos. That's our brand. And part of that chaos is you never know which player's night it's going to be. So we believe in tournament time. You can't just come in with one player expecting to win a game. We had incredible balance tonight. And some of our kids who normally step up wasn't their night. We had a couple other people really step up big tonight.
First Sun Belt semifinals appearance in program history. What are you most proud of from your team this season?
Well, I didn't know that, so that's great. So I think it's one of those things when the season ends, you get a chance to enjoy that. Right now, we got JMU up next. No one's been able to solve that puzzle all season long, so right now, I wish we had time to enjoy the milestones, I guess, but right now, we got to find a way to beat JMU.
Thanks, Coach. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, Coastal Carolina has about 24 hours to try to put together those puzzle pieces. They will face the Dukes in the semifinal, the first time they've gone this deep in a tournament in their program history. Coastal Carolina wins by 9. So for Amanda Poole, Shelby Coppage, Tim Fanguy, the rest of our crew, I'm Noah Frary saying so long from Pensacola. This has been a showing of Sunbelt women's basketball on ESPN. A sub above by VPNU, the new era of event ticketing. James Madison University alumni, Dukes from day one, alumni for life. Visit alumni.jmu.edu. Trade in, trade up to a new Kia at Pensacola's Kia Autosport. We want to see you in a Kia. And by soldout.com, the official ticket resale marketplace for the Sun Belt Conference.